Welcome to week 4. This week I felt back on track. I actually set 2 minor PRs in this week's training. A 59 kilogram snatch, which equals approximately 130 pounds, and is a 1 kilogram increase from my previously PR. And also 73 kilograms clean and jerk, which equals 161 pounds, and an increase of 1/2 kilogram. Small wins, but in the right direction. Today I thought I'd share my warm-up routine with you guys, which is basically also my prehab routine. And for those of you who don't know, prehab is rehab but as a prevention, so in the absence of an injury. It seems that my biggest talent when it comes to CrossFit is that I haven't had any injuries. And in the ultra long run, that will hopefully benefit me a lot. I also think that a rigorous warm-up routine is a big factor to stay injury-free. But first up, the updated ranking. This Monday I decided to try a quarterfinal workout I hadn't done before, and it was test 1 from 2023. The workout begins with 9 front squats at 70 kilograms, and then it's 9 times 7.5 meters, 25 feet handstand walk, followed by 15 lighter front squats and 15 bar muscle ups. Lastly, there are 21 even lighter front squats and 21 wall-facing handstand push-ups. This is performed with a 15-minute time cap, so in my case it was mostly about how many unbroken 25 feet handstand walks I could manage. I'm actually quite happy with 2 successful attempts since I haven't gone that far unbroken before, and especially not in a workout. I also had 2 really close attempts, so I can spot improvement in the near future. The result of doing 11 reps in this workout gives me a new ranking of 3,672. To be continued. Now to the warm-up routine. I've had the same warm-up routine for 4 years now, with some minor adjustments of course, and I always try to do the same, no matter what workout or what the programming says. First of all, I don't do any cardio machines, but this is mostly because I walk to the gym from my home, and this is a 15-minute walk in uphill, so I have the warmth when I arrive. But if you take the car to the gym, it could probably be a good idea to get the blood flowing with some echo bike, for example, before you hit the prehab exercises. I always start with some big arm circles. I do them both forward and backward. This is a basic movement, but the shoulders are probably the most exposed joint in CrossFit, so I think it's a good idea to just get the blood flowing and get a status check of the mobility in your shoulders and pecs, especially if you come straight from a desk job. After that, I do some band pull-aparts. I do them both with pronated and supinated grip. Try to keep your shoulders away from your ears and squeeze your scapulas. Sometimes I also do them diagonally for some alternative activation. This is also for shoulder health, to strengthen and activate your scapulas. For the lower body, I start off with some banded good mornings. The banded good mornings is both a dynamic stretch for the hamstrings and, due to the resistant band, it is also muscle activation for the hamstrings and lower back. The hamstrings is a muscle that many of us feel very tight in, and it doesn't get activated that much in the everyday life. Both of these factors make it a muscle that is quite exposed for muscle strain and other injuries. Activation of the hamstrings can also help to prevent knee injuries. Many injuries are caused by a skew load and can be prevented by activation and strengthening of the muscles surrounding the exposed joint. To do unilateral movement, that is one-sided exercises, can also help with getting the load even. For these reasons, I do the Copenhagen plank for activations of the adductors primarily. But it's actually also a good activation of the core. This exercise is heavier than it seems, so if it feels too challenging for a warm-up, do it at the end of your session instead, as strength training. For the abductors, I do the classic side-lying clamshell. It can feel a bit silly, but it will help you get better at squats, deadlifts and running, and also great booty gains. Try to keep the heels together at all time and do as big movements as you can. As I mentioned earlier, the shoulders are extra exposed due to all the kipping movements in CrossFit. So I also do some rotator cuff activation with the resistance band. Try to do slow and controlled movements. You can do this bilateral as I do here, or also as one side at a time. Scapula pull-ups is another great exercise to strengthen your traps and scapulas, which helps to prevent shoulder injuries. I always do this before anything in the rig, like pull-ups, toes to bar, muscle-ups, etc. This exercise can also be a bit challenging if you haven't done it before. Before my weightlifting, I often do some simple barbell shrugs for the same reason. Last but not least, I also warm up my wrists before weightlifting and handstands. I don't actually know what this exercise is called, but with high handstand volume, the wrists are a limiting factor, and females in general are naturally weak in the wrists. So this helps with strengthening and activation. This warm-up routine takes about 10 to 15 minutes. I try to do 2 sets of each exercise and 10 to 20 reps. After that, I also do some exercise-specific warm-up, like for instance squats with an empty barbell. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Please let me know in the comments if you tried this warm-up routine. Don't forget that consistency is key to all worthwhile things in life, not least when it comes to training.